It's a great pleasure to be here. I would like to start by taking 10 seconds and introduce myself. I literally had 10 years of fintech, 5 years building Lending Club, another 5 years in China building Dianrong. Still, I find it very sad that when I go to the internet and I search for what is fintech, I get this. I get very confusing information about what we do. I'll tell you, for the last 10 years I've been working, I thought I was working on technology, solving a problem that science will solve. I would like us as an industry to talk about fintech the same way we talk about the electric car. So when you Google what is an electric car, you get a scientific answer. When you Google what is fintech, you get a salesman answer. So to really position things, I'm going to simplify the confusion. I'm going to explain to you where fintech came from, what we do today, and where we think we're going to go in the future. Fintech is not something that started yesterday. Fintech is part of the transformation that has been happening to our society for the last 25 years. Remember the time when, if you want to get information, you read the paper or you watch TV. We got to see for the first time the concept of a portal. Portal is special because I don't like the channels that you're offering me. I get a lot more choices. Then we started trusting the internet a little bit more. I can search for the information that I want. I remember when Google came out, I was in school. It helped me dramatically in getting the information that I needed to do my research papers. We trusted the internet a little bit more. And then we were able to send money safely to a place called Amazon, and they will send us a big screen TV. But the biggest trust as a society that we gave to the internet is when we moved to social networks. Everything before, we were giving our time or our money, but with social network, we are giving away, we are giving out our identity, and we let people like us or don't like us, judge us or don't judge us. We went all in. So this is a transformation that has been happening for a long time. And you can think of it as really a person that is growing up, just like a baby that is born. You keep teaching him by giving him more information little by little, little by little. Then you send him to college when he sits down with people like his peers. What will be the next thing that he's going to ask for? He's going to ask to start making decisions. He's going to ask to start making actions. And that is the sharing economy that we have. So I don't want you to tell me where the car is. I want the car to come to me. I don't want you to tell me how to manage my money. I want to manage my money myself. So this is what's been happening. It's not something that happened yesterday. But for such a major transformation to happen in society, there should be something that pushes for it. And that thing is data. IBM Cloud says that 90% of all the data created happened in the last 2 years. Let me make it more dramatic. Every single day, we create 90 years of HD TV. We create 2.5 exabytes of data. Where does it come from? Yes, it comes from Google, Facebook, Amazon, but it also comes from traditional businesses. Rise collects information on you. When you check in, you check out, you're leaving, you're coming out, every one of you has a QR code. They know that they're going to invite you next year. They know what you are interested in. They know where you are. You cannot run a business today without having data. Institutions, the hospital, the church, the school, the movies you watch, everybody's collecting data on you, on you, on you, on you, all of you. So of course, it's normal that people feel a little bit confused. So there is this tsunami of data. And people want to know, what happens to my privacy? What happens if I'm hacked? What's even worse is if you have the wrong information about me. So yes, it's quite an issue. Why do I have to do this? What do I get? Well, I know this is a part of the world where we don't like tsunamis, but trust me, this is a data tsunami that you want to hit by. Here is an example. In China, where we operate 15 years ago, if you want to borrow money, you have 2 choices. You either have to have a house, a car, and put it as collateral, and you take a loan, or your other choice is to pay 50, 60%. Compared to a mature country like the US, we price people properly. Yes, you don't have a house, but you have data. We're going to give you a loan for 20%. Over a period of 10, 15 years, today we are able to create another option. And if you notice, we take away from the people that were overcharging. They're overcharged because there is not enough risk mitigation tools about you. This is obvious, but less obvious is this example. The New York Stock Exchange, the Hong Kong Exchange, you wouldn't invest as a person or as an institution if you did not have data. The truth is data is not created today. Data has always been with us. What happened is that the technology to collect this data, your mobile, for example, did not exist before. The technology to store data, storage was very expensive. But most important, the technology to distribute data did not exist. Today, we have all of that, and we can apply it in the case of the stock exchange market. We can also apply it when it comes at a smaller scale. I feel super safe going to the end of the world and getting an Uber car, and I know he's not going to take me to some place I don't want to know, I don't want to go to, because I know exactly where he's going. I know his license plate, his picture. That's our business model in China as well. So I would like people to stop talking about revolution, disruption, and just relax. This is part of the transformation that we were doing. But unfortunately, not everybody likes transformation. That is a good example. Banks. I remember when I was a kid, the guy working at the bank knew my name. And my father used to take me with him to the ATM branch. But people became internet users. The bank did not change. So that relationship between the bank and the customer became quite wide. And there is a void in the middle that we filled it up. Yes, you became at the same level as the company that gives us electricity or gives us water. You became part of the infrastructure as a bank. You don't know if I use my Apple account, my PayPal account to buy music or to buy movies or invest. You don't. All you know is that you have a large bank account managing for one of these companies. And by missing the transformation that I was talking about, banks are missing a super large amount of data that they could be getting. I'm talking about the US, I'm talking about China, I'm talking about Europe. Name one company in the world that does payments that happens to be a bank. Always internet companies. But there is more into banking than just the bank itself. There's the transaction, which is what I'm talking about here, but there is lending. And that is a much bigger business than the transaction business. So there are two ways of operating lending. Logically, you have people that have money, and you have people that need money. And lending is a contract between the two. You can either follow the capital, or you can drive it the other way around. What does it mean, follow the capital? The bank business, we focus on the people with money. We say cash is king. So we need to offer them products that will make them feel comfortable to let that capital go. And the best we came up with is the securitization model. So we put things in mutual funds, tranches, loan packages, and then we give them to the bank. The bank turns around and does risk management and then decides who are the good and the bad borrowers. We all know what happened in 2008, 2007. There was a failure of the system. We almost broke the financial markets. But that could be solved with more regulations. What I really worry about is the liability that the bank has as a business. You cannot expect your banks to scale up and support all the growth in the economy and having them be so regulated. They are regulated because they are managing a very large balance sheet. What's even worse than banks is that companies that are not banks don't know anything about risk management. They still take the liability. You always hear in the news, so-and-so company is over-leveraged because they want to grow their business. So they borrow money from someone, and they give it to their partners. That creates a lot of problems. There is another way of connecting people with money and people that need money. And that way is what I call the opportunity flow, the exchange marketplace. So the same way the bank does risk management on people, we do. But what we do, we take that opportunity and we are able to place it in an exchange marketplace that has all the data you need to make the decision whether or not to buy it. It's not limited to retail. Bank can participate as well. If the banks still decide to make money out of interest rates, they can participate. But the difference between this model and the previous model is that this model does not have any single point of failure. It's the society that decides whether or not to lend. If the economy happens to be good, people are going to offer low interest rates. If the economy happens to be bad, people are going to offer high interest rates. There is no model better than the market model. So logically or philosophically, the difference between what we do and what banks do is that we look at lending as a logistics problem, when banks look at it as an opportunity for arbitrage. Someone gives me cheap capital, and I charge somebody higher capital. Even our technologies are different. We have a network technology. They have an institution technology. We've been practicing this for over 4 years. And the system worked for us. In China, every single month, we originate more than $450 million. It gets funded by our almost 4 million lenders. And we have so far 1.5 million borrowers. Thank you. These borrowers come from what I call the real economy. So it's not for speculation, it's not for investing in the stock market, but these are our partners. So I like to change the definition of CFO from a chief financial officer to a chief fintech officer. The difference between the two is that the CFO will go and get you $300 million and put it on the company's balance sheet, and you have liability. A chief fintech officer will find the right partner to help his company's partner. All these companies you see here, we support their partners. We have no legal relationship whatsoever or lending relationship with these big brand names, but they pass their partners to us. They give us a lot of data about them, and they tell us this is what they need. We create the perfect product for them. This is what fuels the fintech growth in China. To finish my talk, a lot of people ask me, what is the future of finance? What is the future of finance? And I think in asking that question, they really mean, who's going to decide how finance is going to look? So is it the guy that has millions and millions of dollars? Or is it the guy that is angry, does not want to be in line anymore? Or is it the millennials that are looking at their mobile? My answer is, let's not make the same mistake that traditional financial institutions made when they focus their vision on a very narrow group of people. I think the people that are going to decide for finance is the 7 billion people that we have on planet Earth today. Let me explain. If you are here, you're probably out of the 1 or 2% luckiest people in the world. The tools that you have, the access that you have, the capital that you have, the opportunity that you have, 7 billion people don't have that. And as we grow as a civilization, as we include everybody in the opportunity, there is no banking infrastructure that I can think of that you can double, triple, or quadruple that will be able to support the growth. All these people want to buy a car. They need a loan. They want to study. They need a loan. Who's going to give them all of that? Capital exists. Opportunity does not exist. I can only think of the internet and technology as a way to create a very scalable solution that can allow us to help the masses. And that's what I think is going to be the future of finance. The largest financial company in the world in the next 10 years is going to be the company that is able to solve this problem. Thank you.